Hey guys, so you probably can't notice right now, but I have like a huge pile of books near me. And that is why, because I'm going to give you some reading suggestions today. Sometimes people would like to read some books, but they don't know if the book is good or not. But then they would look at the internet, at least I do that, and I would find if the book is good or not. So I decided to do some suggestions by topics because there is a lot of books in here, and this is just from one shelf. So yeah, I have a lot of books. Sorry. Just a quick note, these books are in Portuguese. It's rare that I have a book in English in here, but they are. But these are Portuguese books, and I will give you the original name if I can find it in the book. If it's not, I'll try my best to translate them for you, because some books that are in Portuguese, I know that if you go to a store in your country you probably can find it, but if they are Portuguese, like from origin, like written by Portuguese authors, I would give you my best to translate them if I can, but I will explain why I have Portuguese books in here later on this video. So starting, I have two vampire books. Dracula, that I know that you probably all know. This is one of the Portuguese covers. I have another copy of Dracula, but it was like a kind of pocket book, like those small books that you can carry around because they are smaller and can fit anywhere. But the letters was just too small for me to read, so I got another one. And yeah, this is just a Dracula book that you probably all know. There's Bram Stoker in here, and yeah, you already know this probably because it's so well known. The other one is from Alexei K. Tolstoy. It is not related to the other famous Tolstoy that I cannot... Lev? Something. It is not related to the other Tolstoy that everyone knows. I got this on a book fair, one of those used books fair that you can find somewhere, and this book that does not have a it has. There's the translation. I would try to read it. This is like Polish, I believe, so I'll try not to make a mess of this. So the translation, the original translation, would be Upir and Semia Vurdalakam. I'm sorry if I just butchered that. Upir and Semia Vurdalakam. It's a very good... These are two stories in here, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a small bat. I'm sorry if this was just butchering, but for you to try to understand, this would be the vampire and the vampire's family. These are two stories in here, and they are very, very good. I love this book. First you have like... I cannot remember correctly of the first story, and I don't want to like fool you or anything, but the second story is about, from what I can remember, there was a guy telling to some of his friends of a family that he met, and the father or the grandpa, I don't remember, went away to the war and came back as a vampire. And on this kind of stories, the vampire would always attack their family first and then would move on to other people. So he started to, like, I think he first got one of his grandsons, and then his son, and then another grandson, and then the wife from his son. He first got on his family and turned them into vampires, and then he moved on to the other people, and all of a sudden the entire village was turn into vampires. This is a very good story. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it to you. If you can get your hands on this book, please do. I don't know if you can find both stories in the same book. I just happened to find them like this. Frankenstein. I didn't ended up reading Dracula full as yet. I'm still reading the books, but this one I've finished, and very good. I didn't expect Frankenstein to be as good, because this will sound stupid, but you see, lots of people always said that the books are better than movies, and I have to agree in this one, because I've seen the older film, like the 1931 film, I believe. I think it was the movie with Boris Karloff. I've seen that movie, and I didn't saw after like half an hour. I've seen half an hour of the movie, and I was just too bored and I couldn't finish. I've seen Dracula, like the 1931 movie with Bela Lugosi, and this didn't happen, so I don't know. I was expecting the book to be better than the movie, at least not to be as boring, and it wasn't. I really loved the book, and I recommend it. The movie, I have to see it again, and let's see, maybe it's better now that I read the book. This book, I think every person on earth should read this book. This book is called, let me see the translation, Animal Farm. It's from George Orwell. Yes, this book is very ruined. It's very old. It was my mother's. So this is an edition, just for you to know. This is an edition of 1980. It was from my mother. And it has a sentence right here that says every animals are the same, or every animals are alike, but some are more alike than the others. I think that could be translated more or less like that. I think everyone should read this. It's very good, because I'll try to give some small synopsis. This is like a farm, and then the pigs take over the farm, and they rule above everyone, and I remember they killed a horse, because I don't know, I think the horse was against them, or the horse didn't want to work again. I don't remember, but I know they killed the horse. They start to rule over everyone. I think this was a parable to Stalinism and Hitlerism and stuff. Yeah. I have two books here, about crimes. This one is about serial killers, and this one is just about crimes. So this serial killer book, I've seen the translation, is the A to Z Encyclopedia of Serial Killers. It looks like this, at least this version. You already know the covers change from country to country. So this one looks like this, and it's really an A to Z of serial killers. It's very interesting. You have like Jack the Ripper, you have Lonely Hearts Killers, Charles Mason, you have a lot. Next book is called, this is, I think it's German. Yeah, the original title was, I'm sorry if I'm gonna butcher this again, so it's Verbrechen. Yeah, so you have several crimes in it. This was written by a lawyer, and there are tales of several crimes that people that he had to defend, and their stories, and it's very interesting. If you follow, or if you enjoy a particular alternative subculture, you might want to find several books about it, and that's what I did. About the goth subculture, I have all these books. Two of them, where is it, the other? are about the Sophie Lancaster case, and everyone should read this as well. This book is I read this book so much. I don't know if you can see, I had some plastic over it to try not to ruin, because this part here starts to fall. One of the parts of the cover is missing, the pages started to fall as well, and yeah, but it's a very interesting book, as well as this one, which is Black Roses, and it's it's like it's the poems of Simon Armitage, and it tells a bit about the Sophie case, and then it's poetry about her and about the murder. It's very, very interesting, and it's very, very beautiful to read. I think everyone should read those books. I have a very, very funny book, at least in my opinion, which is Gothic Charm School. The Sophie Lancaster one and this one were my first English books, like books entirely in English, and I think I made a good choice, because they're for a person who is not an English speaker, like full-time English speaker. This is very, very easy to read, at least for me, and it's very, very funny as well, very, very informative, and the images, like, they are just amazing. I just love it, the images. It's very, very pretty, very, very well written, and yeah, very good if you want to read it. Last book about the goth subculture that I have is this one, which is Goth Vamps and Dandies from Gavin Badley. Yeah, and it is very informative. This one is a little bit harder to read because some of the terms that it uses, but it was fun as well. It was very entertaining and very informative, especially, and it has some of the most awesome pictures I've ever seen. This book is also very, very good. So this one is, let me just find the translation. The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories. It's from Tim Burton. It's also like some kind of poetry, and it has some pictures. I think he drew them by himself. I don't know, but I think so. Yeah, I think he drew them by himself. So you have Oyster Boy, you have Robot Boy. Yeah, I think it is his name. Robot Boy, like the girl with 100 eyes. The boy with nails in his eyes. The girl with really big eyes, etc. Those figurines that you can get, I think you can get several figurines of the characters from this book. I don't have any, but I've seen them, so this is why. And it's good, it's fun. My Portuguese books and why they are here, I will explain them. A very good thing about books from your own country is that you can learn about the history of your own country. And since mine is Portugal, I have several Portuguese books in here. I have more, like about the dictatorship of Salazar and several stuff, but they are not here. But yeah, if you can find books of the history of your country, or books written by authors of your country, it's also very, very good to read them. First, I have, just as title of example, I have 2 vampire books. These are a trilogy, but I just have the first 2. I didn't find the third one yet. It's by Rafael Loureiro. One is called Memories of a Vampire, and the other one is Arcana Ascension, like Risen. I'm not able to say this word. But yeah, it's a very awesome story as well. But I don't think it is translated to English. This is just an example of what you can find, what kind of books you can find on your own country, written from authors of your own country. Night, and I can't translate this word. It's written here. It's like Noite e os Sobressaltos, 7 Histories of Mystery by Pedro Medina Ribeiro. And it is what it is, 7 mystery histories, and there's one with a seance, that one woman of the seance dies, and then she tries to tell other persons from the seance who the killer was. It's very interesting. Not an original concept, but it's interesting. You have like marrying monsters, heritage. Yeah, this is some kind of the stories, and the guy who wrote about them, this one. I have Bichos. It's like animals. It's by Miguel Torga, this guy, I think. I don't know which year he died, but it was a long time ago. Oh, I've written on this book. This is, and this is about several kinds of animals and about their life. Like there's one in here which is about a bull that he was almost dying because it would be like on Torada, and yeah, it's interesting. You can see life by the ears of these animals, and it is kind of interesting because you can learn about your own life, about like human life, reading about animals. It's very, very good. You'll probably know this guy if I tell you who he is. It's the book is called Senhora Vingança, which means Lady Vengeance, and it's by Fernando Ribeiro, which is like the vocalist of Moonspell. He also writes books. I don't know if you can find like his books in English, but he has several books. This one has 2 tales. One is about vampires, and the other one is about a serial killer. It's also very, very good, and I really like this cover. This cover is just amazing. It's very, very pretty.